After the travesty of episode 3, I realize now that I need more training to continue my task of reviewing this monstrosity. Episode 4 starts with the Byers boys and Mike being told that Elle has been taken into custody. They've been assigned their very own FBI agents, Harmon and Wallace. I hope nothing happens to them. They want to return to Hawkins as their friends live there. Mike also says his family lives there. But Mike, you live there. Why wouldn't you be let go home to your parents? Won't they be worried? So the MIB lady says that part of the government are hunting for Elle. But aren't you part of the government? Are you actually supposed to be an X-Files department? Why wouldn't the military faction have been able to get Elle out of custody just like you did? Or follow you? None of this makes any sense. She's asking the boys to trust her, but they have no reason to. These could be some lying branch of government who are currently operating on Elle as we speak. The letter Mike gets could have been forcefully written, but it does say from Elle, not love. That sick burn means it must be her. Nancy and Robin arrive at the school only for Max to show them where the spooky clock isn't. Max says her traumatizing visual hallucination that she thinks will ultimately lead to her death isn't the bad part. The bad part is that she's been having traumatizing visual hallucinations that she thinks will ultimately lead to her death. She thinks that she's going to die tomorrow, but before we can exposit more, the building starts squeaking and making spooky horror sounds. It's definitely something sinister. No way those sound effects are just misleads and it's just a person arriving. Why didn't Robin and Nancy's arrival cause them to get all freaked out and investigate? They also burst into the building, and there were 2 of them. Lucas explains that the jocks think Dustin knows where Eddie is hiding. Dustin says that they have bigger concerns. Mac's gonna get got. Jason tries to find Lucas at home, but all he finds is a forgotten character from season 3.
He's buying me a goddamn Nintendo with Duck Hunt.
Do you remember the 80s? The boys explain that Victor Creel is the only known survivor of Vecna's curse. So the Upside Down wasn't created with the experiments on the kids, but rather it's been there since at least the 50s. Do you remember the 50s? So they don't know what's going on. And I suspect a couple of other boys didn't know either. Max hasn't slept and is writing something, and Robin and Nancy return with a plan. Nancy used her minions at the newspaper to fake documents so that they can pose as college students. I know that it's the 80s, but I'm pretty sure any institution, especially a high-security asylum, would call to verify the legitimacy of any documents before blindly taking them as fact. Telephones did exist. So Nancy and Ruth and Rose are going to charm their way into a maximum security mental health facility to visit Victor. Sure. Okay, good luck. The tension. Can't have resolution without that. So Nancy says that Dr. Hatch is a distinguished, world-traveled scholar who by all accounts is basically a genius. A man of such caliber would probably see through gimmicks, disguises, and obvious shenanigans. Joyce tries to contact her kids, one of them being Will, who the last time she lost contact she tried to stop the entire world just to bring him home safely. She can't get through and Murray says don't worry about it. So she doesn't. Murray is pretty adamant that they not be late for their ransom exchange, so why is she only phoning and getting concerned now, conveniently as they're about to leave so she won't be able to investigate further and discover the situation affecting her kids at home? Why don't the MIB or FBI or whoever they are try to contact her and get her back? Are they not concerned with her potential involvement or her coming home?
That makes no fucking sense!
It's just more contrivances to ensure our characters are kept away from each other so that they all can have their separate plots and adventures. So the guard goes over the plan again with Hopper, out loud and in front of everyone. At least before they had the pretense of having to hide to discuss this stuff. I guess the logic is that no one speaks English. But it's still odd that a guard would spend this much time talking to a prisoner. Never mind the fact that they don't actually know who speaks English or not. How could they? Hopper says that Joyce isn't his partner. The guard disagrees. Only a lover would save him. Well, what does that make Murray? Back with our agents, enjoying a spot of golf while they're assigned to look after the boys. This is thankless work. Their partners and or kids are probably waiting for them at home. Especially as it seems as though it's a 24-hour surveillance for an undetermined amount of time. Jonathan is grumpy about being protected and sad about him and Nancy not working out. Then he remembers a certain someone and all his cares melt away like the cheese on a Surfer Boy pizza. So Will starts listing off plot holes and Mike isn't paying attention as he's still applying ointment.
I love teen drama.
So Johnny's plan is to go to Hawkins so they can help put a stop to all of this. for the fourth time. It's incredibly lucky that Argyle is at work every single time he's not on screen with the boys. Otherwise, they'd have to wait for him to be on shift, which could be hours or days. It's also incredibly lucky that their delivery driver is also the one who answers the phone. I guess that they don't take orders when he's out somewhere. If I called for a pizza and was greeted in this manner by a quirky moron, I would absolutely take my business elsewhere. But that's just me. And apparently this guy. I sure hope nothing happens to him. So Max writes a letter to her dead brother. No need. As far as you know, you'll be seeing him tomorrow. She's mad that they tried to look at the letters that she just gave them, even though she didn't tell them not to look first. Dustin asks, "What is this?" It's a piece of paper with words written in ink, contained within an envelope. It's a failsafe in case she does indeed get got. Lucas tells her that she'll be fine, and she rightly snaps back to him that he couldn't possibly know that. Maybe the show will shock me and actually have a serious consequence for a major character. Steve doesn't think they should go anywhere, and Max threatens to sue him, which wouldn't work for a variety of reasons, top of which is the fact that she may be dead in the morning. But Steve gives up immediately. Come on, Steve. I had such high hopes for you. Ruth and Rose arrive at the asylum. Quirky character can't walk an uptight outfit trope. I get that this isn't your usual style, but you're a human being, not an alien. They're just clothes. You can put up with it for a few minutes, especially considering it's a matter of life and death, potential end of the world kind of stuff. Dr. Hatch says that he knows the person who signed their recommendation letter. Quite well, in fact. Sure is a good thing that the writers have made it so he's incapable of reaching out to his friend by any form of communication. So Ruth and Rose very clearly, overtly, and obviously lie to the professor. Again, like episode 2, it's for the audience, but it's so damn exaggerated. There is no way on God's green earth that any person, especially a genius whose profession is literally profiling people, wouldn't see through their deception. Also, he says there's a protocol for visiting a patient like Victor. A man who has achieved such status certainly didn't get to his position by not following the basic rules of engagement within his organization. Rose has a bit of a meltdown, and at this point Dr. Hatch would certainly have them removed from the building. She says he won't let them in because they're girls. She then appeals to his ego. Instead of having Rose committed, which a man who runs a mental health facility should do after that ridiculous outburst, he caves and starts to lead them to Victor. Murray and Joyce arrive at smuggler Yuri's location. At least we can get a serious, non-wacky character to contrast these two Teletubbies. We have another classic home-style cliche. Character you're looking for is dead, even though, lol, it's actually me. Oh great, he's even more quirky and wacky than these two. They show him the money. He's so insufferable that even Murray shuts up. See? Not so nice, is it? Back with Hopper, and his escape is imminent. He just needs to wait for his moment to strike. Why would the guard turn his back on him and not tell him to get back in line? Then he also puts his gun away. Oh, that's why. Can't have Hopper escape without everyone around him acting like they sold their last brain cells for an extra portion of delicious prison food. So another guard notices that Hopper is missing. He's convinced he's in the nearby shed as the door is ajar. As Hopper is removing his feet, the guard gets the jump on him. It's over. There's no way Hopper will get out of this one. Why would the guard, who has a ranged weapon, step closer to the prisoner who just took out a colleague? He may be hiding a weapon himself. You would stay at range so that if he tries anything, you can take him out, for your own safety and for the safety of your entire operation. The great thing about guns is that they can be used from a distance. If the guard was only holding a sword, I could understand him stepping towards Hopper. But Grim, says Mr. Duffer, how else could we have Hopper be able to reach the guard and beat him? We thought about it for like 6 whole minutes. Writing's hard, you know. So because he's completely moronic, Hopper smacks him. They have a fight that leads to the gun firing, which leads to the other guards hearing the commotion. And I'm afraid that's the end for our boy Hopper. How could he possibly escape this one? So rather than again keeping their distance with their many guns and holding on the cabin that at the very least has stray bullets flying around, they all run toward it without their guns drawn. He goes up, smart, as he must have known that all the guards would act like toddlers chasing bouncy balls. Now with their new position, they conveniently can't look up. They don't even surround the cabin. Even the jocks knew this. They needed to draw it in the dirt, but still. So because of a Lemony Snicket level of nonsense on the part of the guards, Hopper escapes. The dynamite that Hopper lit goes off exactly as they get the door open just so that they can see it. Not before, when he was trapped on the roof. What if the guards weren't on the short bus to work that day and had surrounded the cabin and trapped our boy on the roof? Well, then it's over. Good thing they leave the keys in the snowmobiles of their gulag prison. Also a good thing another guard does something marvelous and special, and doesn't fire at Hopper immediately. There is no way they would miss with all these bullets. They did. Me too, Igor. Me too. Max goes outside to say goodbye to her mother, but her mother is Vecna. Okay, just to point out that when Vecna takes over, he can make you see and feel things that aren't actually there and transport you to other visual locations. Keep that in mind for later. Back with Ruth and Rose as they fly over the cuckoo's nest, they are led to Victor. They clearly lie again. There's no way he'd let them go in alone. He does. Ooh, that scratching sound. They tell Victor that they believe him and need his help. He stops his manicure to reveal he is in dangerous need of an optometrist. Our guy listens to stoner music. Who would have guessed? Mike and Will have some more teen stuff. They miss each other. It's kinda cute. Will makes sure to bring his painting for their escape. So the FBI guy answers the door to who he thinks is the pizza man. The shutter speed and frame rate change to denote action, and for a moment, a brief, magical moment, my heart, I almost felt it.
Smithers, my heart's pounding like a jackhammer.
Is this excitement? Joy? One-shot, horrifying, grounded action that's shot quite well and is engaging? The FBI guy does so much to protect the boys and carry out his duty in the face of insurmountable odds. My God, we even have a character I like and I'm rooting for. I would watch an entire series based on the life and work of this true blue American hero. Fuck.
Firesman.
Double fuck. Why doesn't this guy shoot? He must have gotten trained at Hopper's prison. After counting his money, Yuri continues to be insufferable.
I don't like him.
Me neither, Murray. Me neither. Hopper drives and rides his snowmobile to the town to wait for collection. He then uses his dirty, nasty-ass fingers to eat peanut butter directly from the jar. This boy be acting like Winnie the Pooh. There's plenty of things to use as a spoon in there. I know you're hungry, but come on. I'm sorry, what? So Yuri betrays just about everyone. Not the best idea for a smuggler to be known as a rat, but I guess if his payoff is enough, he'll be alright. Character gets drugged and drops the cup that drugged them. Page 89 in Writing for Dummies. They're making progress.
I love teen drama.
Speed round.
Max is pretty sad her letter writing really had a chance to deliver all the points she's left. I'm glad that I get to review. I know that Lucas wants too. Some closure to the story that is Vecna haunting you. He says that he's right here alone is wrong to face her fears when it comes to the anomaly that shades through the years. But a point she has to make before the celebration cake or the drowning star starts to set her soul it will take. Needs to express all these words and say goodbye to trees and birds. But mostly though it's silly, she needs to say goodbye to Billy.
Back with the girls and they want to know how Victor survived Vecna's curse. Do you remember the 50s? Victor, his wife, and their 2.5 kids arrived to their new home. Shit started to go wrong after about a month. These activities seem pretty paranormal. Why wouldn't you leave the house when all the crazy evil stuff started happening? I don't care how nice your house is. It's lucky that 1950s music sounds inherently spooky. The entire family got. Why would Vecna turn on the radio if that's his one weakness? So Victor tried to kill himself by slicing his eyeballs? Dude, your wrists are right there. You were a soldier. You should absolutely know that slicing your eyes probably wouldn't be fatal. So Dr. Hatch finally starts doing his job and realizes that the girls were lying to him. Max reads her letter to a piece of granite. It is emotional and Sadie gives a decent performance. This will be a wonderful payoff if this is actually the end to her character. I do find it kind of funny that the sad emotional music in the scene is still synth music, but it's just slowed down. Kind of sounds like a meme. Undercuts the emotion of the scene just a little bit. After she finishes the letter, Vecna arrives. Steve knows that she's been gone too long and goes after her. Inside of Max's head, Vecna is posing as Billy to make her feel guilty about not being able to save him. After he reveals himself, with the frumpy look to the costume and the low, quite wide angle, it's kind of a punchline shot. And once his voice switches back, it's so goofy too. It sounds like he's saying Mex instead of Max.
It is time, Max.
This is definitely not an American actor. The accent is a dead giveaway. Steve gets Dustin to contact Nancy and Robin. They need help. Fast. So because Victor was humming and Robin remembered that music exists, they suddenly know exactly what to do. They run back to the car to escape the police. Okay, so remember earlier when I said to keep in mind that Vecna seems to have absolute power over the hallucinations? Well, we have further proof of that as he can change things at will here and appear anywhere as it seems to exist outside of the rules and boundaries of our normal universe. They need to play her favorite song to save her. Chunky Boy uses his tentacles to grab her from a distance. This floating effect and song are pretty great. I completely understand anyone having an emotional connection with this scene. Seeing all the moments of the character contrasted with the horrific situation that she's found herself in, knowing that a show only really does something like this if the character is about to be taken out. The music and the emotional weight help give her the strength to rip one of Vecna's wiggly bits off and start her escape. This is where it gets stupid again. We've seen him use his tentacles from a distance. Does he use them? No. We've seen him basically teleport to where he needs to be. Does he do it? No. We've seen him change the fabric of this reality to his liking on multiple occasions. Does he do it now to distract or disorientate her? No. What does he do? Stands still and throws rocks. Every time you think that this show is going to do something genuinely great, they have to ruin it. It's so disappointing. This scene had so much potential. However, they still may actually kill off a main character in what would be an emotionally significant way. Here it comes. They cut to black. Cowards. Next is 5.